The review agenda. So is there anything on the consent agenda? Anything on public hearings? Ordinance for first consideration.
Just on 5C, I appreciate the clarification on the copies, the line in, line out. That was helpful. I want to make sure that gets posted for the public too. I'm sure it will be for the next, for the second reading. I wanted to ask, let me find my notes on this. Am I to assume from the staff package that these are requirements passed down from EPA to DNR, then imposed upon the city and cities, and that we're pretty much expected to pass these types of amendments into city ordinance? Is that correct? Or okay. And not having had time to go through the changes that you provided to us, and again, thanks for that. Do you foresee any costs or significant changes in practice that'll be required of the city as a result of any of these changes? Okay.
We've always monitored and we'll continue to monitor, and we'll just monitor at different levels, I assume.
And likewise, do you see any change in costs or operating requirements for the industrial users?
I would not anticipate significant cost to either the city or the industrial users. A lot of the changes had to do with metals, and we have very few industries that would have to deal with metals at all. And you know, if the discharges, all these changes have to do with our industrial users, industrial permits.
Yeah. Hence my question. So in other words, these changes are basically pretty pro forma, it would appear.
Based on the kinds of industries we have, there would be minimal impact to these things. Will have minimal impact.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I just had a quick question on 5A. Don, is that been planned to be senior living that the church is doing? Is it planned to be? They gave an example of one they've done somewhere else, and it was senior living. So what they're doing here is senior living?
Their intentions is to submit a tax credit application, I think this year, for 35 units, facing A.
Okay. And the type of restriction on that, do you know, is it going to be senior living or low?
It'll be senior living, it'll be at or below 60%. I don't know how many market rate units will be in it. I haven't actually seen the application. But I would guess most of them will be less than 60%. There might be a few that are market rate.
Thanks.
The other thing I would point out, technically the parking lot that they have there now, although it's been there for a long, long time, is a legal non-conforming use. So even if they don't go ahead with their senior facility, it addresses that issue.
Very good. Thank you.
I had a question on 4C, back to the public hearings. That public right-of-way, that is just for phase one, so we'll have this come to us, and all the businesses will, this will come for every phase.
Yes, that's the intent. Since we didn't have any detailed survey past phase one limits, we're going to do it 5 times.
5 times for every, and all those businesses will be, during each phase, that would be contacted, obviously.
Correct.
And this just affects the corners?
Yes.
It's just,
So the intersection corners are kind of right angles here, which typically isn't how it's done.
Right. So the intent on any other property other than intersections will be just temporary right of entries to do grading and that sort of thing, but not permanent acquisition.
Other questions on anything on the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
this is an appropriate topic for an executive session pursuant to 21.51J of the Iowa Code, and that we'll be discussing the sale of an interest in city property.
At Capital Savings Bank, you get personal